Hi, I'm Talon. The reason I decided to go on the mission trip this year was because my dad just asked me if I was going, and he said he would pay for it, so I was like, sure. So my dad signed me up, and I was really excited at first. But then we started our VBS dance practices on Sundays. I just didn't want to be there anymore, I guess. I just wasn't into it. And then 3 days before we went, I got the flu. And secretly, I was like super excited, and I wanted to stay sick so that I didn't have to go. So if you lift up my pillow, there's like a line of pills that I was supposed to take, but I never took because I didn't want to go anymore. So I don't know why I didn't want to go anymore. Maybe it's because I've been going to church my whole life and I'm like bored of it, or if it's because I just generally don't really ever think about God like throughout my life. But so all we were doing was going up to a couple of villages for a few days and then going to the beach. So I was like, it's fine, it's okay. And so Saturday rolled around, and like for the past like 2 days, my fever had been like a 102, 103, and then on Saturday I just woke up and just wasn't sick anymore. So I was like, okay, fine. I was like really tired, but I was slowly accepting the fact that I had to go to Mexico. And so when we arrived, I figured since there was no way I was gonna like get back to America unless I walked for 2 months, that I should just get over myself and be excited. And so the first full day we were in Mexico, we were at a church in the city, and we did VBS with the kids there. But my heart wasn't really in it. I couldn't talk to the kids because I didn't know their names, and I don't speak any Spanish. And I was still throwing away all the pills that I was supposed to be taking, but I don't know why, because I was already there. So Sunday blew by, and the only thing I was looking forward to was going to sleep, I guess. The lessons I learned in Mexico were kind of things I already knew, but like never really processed in my mind. When we were in the village of San Isidro, I was holding this baby boy named Daniel, and he was probably like the cutest boy ever, and we all thought he was a girl because he was really cute. And I like to hold the babies more than playing with the older kids because they don't know if you're speaking English, Korean, or Spanish, and they don't really care. So I was holding Daniel in the church while all the kids were doing crafts, and then I heard a little toot sound, and I was like, oh, he farted. And then I felt wetness on my leg because the baby diarrheaed on me. And for some reason, I still wanted to hold him after I changed my pants, and I went, and when I did, he peed on me, and then the next morning, I held him again, and then he peed on me again. And would I have been irritated if a person who was potty trained peed or pooped on me? Probably, but this was a cute baby who can't help that he doesn't have diapers and doesn't know any better than to just pee when he needs to pee. So I was kind of like, how could I be mad? I guess I saw myself in the baby, but all I do and have been doing for my entire life is kind of peeing and crapping all over God, except for the only difference is that I probably should know better. I've been taught that sinning is wrong and there are certain things that I should and should not do, but I still do them every day anyways, and God still loves me the whole entire time. He doesn't like hand me over to someone else to clean up the mess I make and then only hold me when I'm clean. He doesn't leave me with someone else so that he can go change his pants or anything. He stays with me before I sin, while I sin, and he's still with me after. He's not the kind of God that only wants to be my God when I'm not doing anything wrong. He loves me no matter what I'm doing. I forget that all the time because I only ever look for him after everything is done, and I'm trying to find a way to stop any like guilty feelings I'm feeling. I never acknowledge his presence any other time because I've never really wanted to. If I did, how could I have ever told a lie or disobeyed my parents, played Candy Crush during service or anything? I'm able to commit sin after sin because I just ignore God altogether most of the time, so that the only rules I have to follow are my own. The only rules that are really enforced in my life are the U.S. Constitution, but not even really that because I'm only 16. So don't do drugs and come home at night. No one tells me like I'm not allowed to go somewhere, or no one tells me to stay home on weekends and like study all night. I generally do whatever I want, and that's the way I've lived my life, and I kind of like it. It's fun and it's pretty easy. But after a mission trip, I felt so ashamed because I just thought, am I so high and mighty that all my thoughts and words are above God's when He is the only one who will continuously love me all the time? Am I so great that I don't have to follow any of His rules? Just to clarify, the answer to those questions are no. I'm disappointed in myself because I know I'm not someone who's never heard these things. I know these things. I have no excuse. And I'm lucky that I have a God who doesn't get irritated and disown me when I consciously make the wrong decision. Yet I feel so sorry to Him that I'm unable to follow just one set of rules in my life placed upon me by a literal higher being. After leaving the villages, I felt super weird. How much would I have hated myself if throwing away my pills actually kept me from experiencing this? I can never really ever doubt the existence of God when things like this always happen in my life. He's always working miracles in my life and I don't even realize it. Mission trip was probably the best and worst thing I've ever attended. The best thing because being with the kids made me realize how much being in the mission field made me happy, and because it reintroduced the thought of God being in control of my life. It was the worst thing because it reintroduced the thought of God being in control of my life. It's no longer an option for me to ignore Him when I saw Him so blatantly working in the lives of all these kids. They're such happy and pure people. I was walking with one of the kids, and this girl just grabbed my hand, and she looked down at my nails and saw there was a bunch of dirt caked underneath my fingernails, and she just like cleaned them for me. I didn't know her name, she didn't know my name, and yet she got her nails dirty just to clean mine when I had done nothing for her. Like, such little things like lollipops and a game of Duck, Duck, Goose make them smile so widely, and they can play them forever because they just never get tired of them. They have nothing, and yet they find such big joy in what they have. That would never be possible without God. It made me feel such big, big shame that I could ever be stupid enough to question the existence of God or His authority. Mission trip ruined my chance of living my life of ignoring God's rules and playing the game I wanted the way I wanted when I wanted it. But I guess that what I thought was the worst thing turned out to be the best thing. At the house church we visited, we talked about how God's people are light. God is the light, and His people should follow the light and be the light for the rest of the world. The people who don't know God haven't seen the light, but I know God. Maybe I don't know God, but I definitely know of God. I've been exposed to the light. When I was younger, I would pray every single night before sleeping, and I would read a chapter of the Bible every single day, and I haven't done that in years. I felt as if rather than not seeing the light, I had just completely abandoned the light. I lost the light, and not by accident, but by choosing to ignore God and His Word. Going on this mission trip definitely reintroduced me to the light, and whether I choose to follow it or to run into the darkness again is yet to be determined. But I highly recommend anyone who feels like they've lost their light to go on